Hi, and welcome to Hord Inc Studios. If you are new here, make sure to hit the like button now and comment down below. Today we will look at recording options and settings on BlackMagic Pocket Cinema Camera. There are two recording buttons on the camera. To record, simply press either of the two. Before you record, press the menu button to open your camera's dashboard. BlackMagic Pocket Cinema Camera records ProRes and BlackMagic RAW. Depending on your video needs, we advise you to use RAW when you want to optimize your footage for post-production and ProRes for video with less post-production requirements. BlackMagic RAW works in two different ways. You have a choice to use either the constant bitrate codec or the constant quality codec. The constant bitrate codec works in a similar way to most codecs. It tries to keep the data rate at a consistent level and won't let the data rate go too high. This means the camera stores same bitrate, no matter the scene being shot. To solve this problem, use constant quality instead. This codec is technically called a variable bitrate codec, but what it's really doing is allowing the size of the file to grow if your images need extra data. There is no upper limit on the file size if you need to encode an image but maintain quality. The ratio for compression on the video determines the file quality. The lower the ratio, the higher the quality. Resolution setting works in combination with the codec setting. Use it to select the resolution for your desired recording format. I normally use the higher resolution and adjust later when editing the video. Next screen on recording setting. Adjust the dynamic range setting by tapping the dynamic range icons. BlackMagic Pocket Cinema Camera has 3 dynamic range settings. The film setting shoots video using a log curve that allows you to maintain the greatest dynamic range and maximizes the information in your video signal to help you get the most out of color grading software, such as Davinci Resolve. The extended video setting offers a good balance between video and film dynamic range settings. This setting offers a wider dynamic range than video, while applying a mild contrast change with a smoother roll-off in the highlights. Extended video is suitable for use with standard broadcast monitors, and is a helpful setting if you have limited time for post-production and want to record your clips with a pleasing look applied. The video setting is similar to the Rec 709 color standard for high-definition video. This lets you work faster by recording directly to the compressed video formats in a color space suitable for direct delivery or minimal post-production. BlackMagic Pocket Cinema Camera can be set to use the full sensor area, or for even higher frame rates, you can use the sensor area option to select the sensor area in window mode. This uses only the amount of sensor pixels needed for a given video format, rather than scaling images from the entire sensor. The sensor area setting is available when shooting below your camera's maximum resolution, such as when shooting Ultra HD or HD ProRes video. The project frame rate provides a selection of frame rates commonly used in the film and television industry. Off-speed recording switch icon lets you set your sensor frame rate independently. With off-speed recording enabled, tap the arrows next to the off-speed frame rate indicator to set your camera's sensor frame rate. The sensor frame rate sets how many actual frames from the sensor are recorded every second, and frame rate will affect how fast or slow your video will play back at your set project frame rate. Preferred card for recording lets you choose the drive to record the video to. Use stop recording if card drops frame setting to configure the behavior of your BlackMagic Pocket Cinema Camera when dropped frames are detected. When set to off, recording continues with dropped frames. Third last page in recording setting, time-lapse setting, activates the time-lapse feature to automatically record a still frame at a rate you require. Use detail sharpening setting to sharpen the image. When sharpening is enabled, decrease or increase the level of sharpening by selecting default, medium or high. When sharpening is enabled, it is applied to ProRes video recorded on camera, as well as the HDMI output. This setting is intended for live studio production where there is no time for post-production, and you want to output the image live to air. We recommend leaving it off for images you are recording for further post-production. Record LUT to clip bake in the LUT to your footage. This option is available when recording ProRes. This can be a useful option for situations where you do not have the time to grade your footage in post-production, or where you need to give the footage directly to a client or an editor. Apply LUT and file when recording RAW. If you are shooting with the BlackMagic RAW codec and applying a LUT to the HDMI output of your camera, the selected LUT will be embedded into the BlackMagic RAW file you are recording. This means that the LUT will be saved in the header of the file, and can easily be applied to the clip in post-production, without needing to handle a separate file. When the Apply LUT and File switch is set to on in the Record menu, this clip will open in BlackMagic RAW Player and Davinci Resolve, with the chosen LUT already applied to it. The LUT can then be easily toggled on or off, but will always travel with the BlackMagic RAW file, as it is written into the clip itself. Davinci Resolve also has an Apply LUT switch in the RAW settings palette for enabling or disabling the 3D LUT in the BlackMagic RAW file. The Apply LUT setting in Davinci Resolve is the same setting as in the camera. This means that when shooting you can direct the colorist to use the LUT by setting it in the camera, but they can switch it off easily in Davinci Resolve by setting Apply LUT to off. Important information of the day. When recording BlackMagic RAW and ProRes using film dynamic range, the image will appear dull and desaturated on your touchscreen. This is because the image file contains a lot of data that hasn't yet been graded to suit a standard display. However, while recording film dynamic range, you can monitor the video on the touchscreen and HDMI output using a display LUT or a lookup table. In the next video we finalize the recording features. Thank you for watching and make sure to watch the next video. Have a nice day and subscribe.